fact, one of my clients, I'm going to see her tomorrow. She's from Grenada, and she has people come into her house and giving her money, and she's the person who's holding the box. So because this is someone that's saving money and saving a lot of money, and I'm going to explain to her how money works, because the one good thing about the box system or the SUSU system is that, yes, people are saving money. They're diligent about saving. But now what do we do when we get that SUSU money? Or what do we do when we get that box hand at the end of the 12 months or 15 months or however long we're keeping it for? So when my parents came here, they didn't have this information. They just knew about working and saving some money. And at the time, their jobs were offering them, different retirement accounts, and they saved in those. But just like Shelly Ann said, the money that's saved up over the years, they lost some to the market. They ended up pulling out some for other things. So life happens. But what we typically see is if you do not know this information, you're not going to be better off. You have to know this information. And this is why we teach financial education. This is why we teach the 3 rules of money. If nothing else, take away tonight the 3 rules of money, because there are rules to money, and most of us were never taught these rules. Rule number 1, as Shelly Ann said, we got to get our money to work for us. We got to get our money to grow, right? We got to get our money to compound and double, because most people have their money in the banks earning less than 1%. So if you apply the rule of 72, your money's going to take 72 years. My parents didn't know that. I didn't know that, right? And so many other people still don't know that. And then we have Sharon, who talked about rule number 2 and number 3 is understanding the tax strategies. Because believe it or not, you and I could have $1 million saved up, and depending on where your $1 million is sitting and where my $1 million is sitting, guess who's going to pay the least tax, which means I'm keeping more money, right? If you know taxation. And then she also talked about investment options. Listen, at your job, they don't tell us what our options. They just say, hey, we got a 401k, we got a 403b, we got a pension or an IRA. You can sign up for it and save for your retirement. But there's no education that goes into these programs, nor they don't give us options. And if you know what I know, and now you've gotten a chance to see a little of it, you want to be in an index strategy account, because why? In 2008, and we're going to continue to see it even right now in this pandemic 2020, people are losing money. The number 1 rule to investment is never ever lose money. I didn't say it. Warren Buffett said it, right? And all the famous people who are teaching finance and killing in the financial space, they're all saying you got to put your money where it's going to work for you. You got to put your money where it's going to double. You got to put your money where it's going to be safe. So you want to have these strategies, and like all of them echoed it. There's so much that we can help you with, but it starts with financial education. So my part tonight, I'm going to talk about how did I get started with this journey. I am a licensed financial professional. With my license, I can help anyone in the entire 50 states. And all of these ladies that you heard speaking tonight, they also are in a position to help anybody in the entire 50 states. Now, our organization is also in the entire US, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. We have about 400 different offices throughout the North America space. So how I come to learn about WFG is as a professor, one of the colleges that I teach at, because I do teach at 2 colleges, one of them that I teach at, there was this guy named Angel. And Angel graduated from the program, and every semester we try to bring back a student to talk about how college has prepared him. So Angel shows up with a couple of other hospitality business people who graduated from the program, and they did their presentation. They talked about their college life. They talked about how the college prepared them for the real world and how they're doing amazing things in their career. So after the session, he started talking to me. He's like, Professor King, like, what do you do besides teaching? And I said, well, I'm always on social media. I do a lot of Facebook Live. I do a lot of posting videos, educating families on basic financial concept, teaching people how to save their money. And he lent me this book, right? It's called Saving Your Future. So as an educator, I read the book. It's only 86 pages long. I read the book and I was in so much awe that even as a professor, someone who's graduated from NYU, been in the corporate space for 18 years, still did not know much about money, even though I was making that money, right? And I talked about it in my book. If you haven't read it, I'm going to be raffling my book to 3 individuals at the end of this call. So make sure you guys stay on the call. I talked about it in my financial journey in my book. If you're in stacking, you're dropping. And that's what I do a lot on social media, always educating people how to stack their coins, right? So in my book, I talk about how many years ago when I was in a corporate space, I had saved up about $100,000. This $100,000 was sitting at an undisclosed bank that I'm not going to say. And this bank was giving me at the time a little over 1%. Now that's a big deal because today, check your bank, guys. The banks are not even giving you 1% today. It's 0.0 something, less than half a point. So if you just divide that by 72, you're going to see how long your money is going to take to double. You're going to be poor. And we don't want that. That's why we're sharing this information. So in my book, I talk about how I had saved up this $100,000 and I had my 401k, and I'm one of those people because I'm a saver. Leslie talks about, there's some people who are passive savers and some who are not. I am a saver. I am an addict saver. This is why I love to talk about money. This is why I love to teach people about stacking their coins. Right? So as a saver, I save this money up. I'm on my finance game. I'm watching the stock market. And every time my 401k went down, I was one of those employees that would call Wachovia, who was assigned to our 401k. And I would call Jason and I would say, Jason, what the hell is going on? I lost 20,000. I lost 10,000. And he would always tell me, Odetta, aren't you watching the stock market? The market went down. But don't worry. You're young. You got a lot of years to make it back. That didn't sit well with me. You know why? Even though I was not financially educated, I understand the concept of losing money. I don't want to lose money ever. If I go to Atlantic City or any casino, I don't even want to play because I don't want to lose money. Although I know I could also win, I just don't want to lose. So he would try to comfort me by telling me the stock market is going to rebound. You're young. You have 30-something years. And I started thinking, well, if this continues to happen, I'm not going to have the end number that I should have. So that didn't sit well with me. So I started looking into research. So when Angel reached out to me and he gave me this book, it so happened that there was a workshop happening at Mercy College. Now, some of you know that I live in Brooklyn, and there is a thing in New York. If you live in Brooklyn, you don't go to the Bronx. If you're from the Bronx, you don't go to Brooklyn, and everybody just kind of stays in their borough, right? So there's some people that live in Brooklyn forever and have never gone to the Bronx. So when he told me the Bronx, I'm like, what, the Bronx? Anyway, I said, you know what? I read the book. I wasn't impressed, and I said, you know what? This information is going to not only benefit me, but it's going to benefit my students. So I went to the Bronx. Let me tell you guys something. The information that they presented that day, it was a 2-hour workshop at the Bronx Community College. I was so excited. I did not even think about it twice. I signed up to become a member immediately so I could have a one-on-one conversation and sit with a professional to understand what is going on with my money, to help me understand why when I'm putting my money in the 401k, I'm losing, and that's normal to everybody else. It wasn't normal to me because I don't like losing. I wanted to understand why when I'm putting my money in the bank and I saved up $100,000, which is a big deal, but I'm only getting $60 in interest, and I multiply that $60 times 30 years, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not even going to be $2,000. How am I going to retire with just this kind of money? So I wanted to learn more, right? And I signed up to become a member. That was 3 years ago, and I have never ever looked back. And because of this opportunity, I fired my financial advisor. Because of that opportunity, I do not subscribe and I do not believe in risky investment, because now I know more, because now I know better. And this is what World Financial Group is about. It's about educating families with basic financial concept that is out there, but we just don't know, and no one is educating us. So tonight, my part is going to be talking about the business side of this opportunity, because some people are going to be here and they're going to say, well, this sounds good. I need to set up a one-on-one. I need to sit with someone to help me understand and plan my financial future. And some of you are going to be saying, that's good too, but I want to make money, because I follow Odetta on social media and she's always talking about stacking coins. And because we're in a pandemic, because there's over 5 million people unemployed, we need more than ever to have another source of income. So guys, you're at the right place at the right time with the right company. Timing is everything, guys, right? 78 million baby boomers was born between the years of 1946 to 1964. And guess what? 55 is the age that nearly half of those existing financial advisors are over the age of 55. They're on their way out. They're in retirement. They're going to be in retirement. And so they don't have time to do this anymore. The average financial advisor is 55. And so statistics shows that there's going to be a shortfall of about 200,000 financial advisors needed by the year 2030. And you know what's ironic? All these baby boomers right now have massive wealth that they're going to transfer from one generation to the next. From one generation to the next generation. And if someone doesn't sit with them and educate them, that money is going to fall through the cracks. It's going to fall through taxes. It's going to fall to inflation. It's going to fall to the stock market losses. And so people are needed to become licensed financial advisors. Listen, I did not graduate with a financial degree. Most people who are in WFG did not come from a financial background. And the ones who did come from a financial background were never taught financial education. One of my very good business partner and friend, Pierre worked at the bank for 8 years. And all he was taught is to open people credit cards and give them credit card. No education, right? So let's talk about our company. Who are we? We are owned by Aegon. And if you Google Aegon, right, Aegon is listed as 2 of 9 companies too big to fail to the entire financial global system. Not New York, not US, not Canada, but the entire financial global system. That's who we are. That's who our parent company is, Aegon. And Aegon has been around for over 176 years. That is a super big deal, because there's only about 2% of companies, financial companies, 2% that makes it to 100 years old. And Aegon has been around for 176 years old. Now, like every major global company, they also wanted to have a presence in the USA and Canada. And so they created a company called Transamerica. Well, guess what? When I was working in the corporate world, my 401k was with Transamerica. And now today, I'm representing Transamerica. Now, World Financial Group is a marketing arm. We are the team that are going out and educating families. Like I said, we have 400 offices across the country. But because of COVID, unfortunately or fortunately for some of us, COVID has been a blessing. And when I say a blessing, business has more than tripled. Our company has over 200,000 licensed financial advisors. We went from 50,000 to 200,000 in a matter of months. From the time the pandemic hit in February, March to now, we're at 200,000 and we went from 50,000. So let's talk about more numbers. This slide here says 42,000. This was prior to COVID. Now we have to update this slide to show 200,000. We just had a video launched 2 weeks ago with the president of the company talking about this exponential growth. About 100 people, entrepreneurs, are making at minimum 1 million since 2001. These numbers also have to be updated. Can you imagine working for a company that has 100 people making $1 million? Think of it. Which company do you know has 100 people making $1 million, right? 4.2 million families helped since 2001. Our home office in Georgia Duluth has 259 home office employees that does all the back end support for us. And again, these numbers have to be updated because we've actually more than doubled the 7.34, and 7.34 was last year's number where it was a record-breaking year, and 2020 is also going to be not a crushing record-breaking year. Now, we work with 77 product providers. Who are these product providers? Guys, think of World Financial Group as the Amazon for the financial service. We don't own any company. I'm going to say that again. We don't own any company. We are like the Amazon for the financial service. So we have access to different companies. And all of these companies that you see here, these are some of the ones that we work with on a day-to-day basis. Franklin Templeton Investment, Transamerica, our parent company, Everest. Oh my God, Google Everest. Everest has just been named in Forbes magazine as the #1 funeral planning concierge. When someone dies and they have an Everest funeral package, they get the money in 2 days. 2 days. That's a big deal when someone passes away. Because even for people who may say, well, Odetta, I have my burial money. Can your family get to your accounts when you pass away? No, right? How about Nationwide? Everybody knows the jingle. Nationwide is on our side. We were on a training yesterday with Nationwide talking about the need for long-term care. Most people have no idea what long-term care is or how costly it's going to be, right? So these are just some of the companies that we work with. And when we sit with clients, we have options for them. Now, let's talk about some ways that we earn income. There's several ways. You can earn income with your personal pen. If you decide you just want to come in, educate a family, help them save their money smart, help them invest their money smart, help them with a life insurance, help them with a college planning, help them set up their wills, their trusts, basic things that everybody needs, but they just don't know, right? You make money that way with your personal income, with your personal pen. If you decide you want to build an agency, right? You want to have a location in a state. Now you have agency income. Maybe you want to expand. Like I said, we're an entire US, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. So you can expand your business in other states. I have my license. I live here in New York, and I have so many other licenses in different states that I'm helping teammates and helping families fix their finance or better their finance, right? What about bonus income? As you move up the ladder, like with any job, the higher the position, now you might be overseeing a team and you could have bonus. And the best part is something called recurring income. Guys, I don't know about you, but how many of you are working jobs and you're doing the same thing over and over for years and there's nothing recurring when it comes to your income? I was a top director of sales for several Fortune 500 hotel companies. I worked for Starwood. I worked for Hilton. I worked for Hyatt. I worked for independent boutique hotels, traveled the world, had the corner office, made the 6-figure, but there was nothing recurring. As a director of sales, if I do not produce, I'm not making money, and certainly not commission. I'm probably going to get my base salary, but no commission. But here, every family that I've helped in the last 3 years, I get what's called recurring income. And so can you. For helping a family with a financial strategy that they need, every year, as long as that family kept that product, you get recurring income. The work is done, but you're still getting paid. So as we like to say here, even if you come with zero financial knowledge, you can learn and earn in the financial industry. My first paycheck when I started, I spent 15 minutes on a Zoom. Brand new, just got my license, still didn't know much. 15 minutes on a Zoom, I got paid $256. And I looked at that income and I look at my teaching income. It made a difference. And I realized I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to make my teaching income part-time and WFG full-time. And that's what I'm doing. So let's talk about how we get paid, right? We get paid to financially educate people first and foremost. We get paid to help people save their money smart. Because when we educate a family about the 3 rules of money, understanding compound interest, understanding that you got to put your money to go to work for you, understand that you have to have tax strategies, index strategies, so you don't lose when the stock market go down, right? You're saving your own money. And the company, depending on which one of those 77 companies that we choose, the company pays you. So everybody starts as a trainee. Your first 30 days, you're in training. You don't know anything. And even if you come with a financial background, you're still going to be in training, right? You get your license in your first 30 days. You're promoted to an associate. Helping one family or one person, in fact, save $250 per month, which is $3,000 a year. Now, you know what's ironic? That person might already be saving at $250, but they're not saving it smart. They're saving it in the bank. They're saving it in their 401k. They're saving it under the mattress or at a susu. But now when you educate them and you show them where to reposition that $250 and save it smart. Save it where you can never lose to the stock market when the market go down. Save it where you know it's going to be tax advantage. So whatever it grows to, and when you're ready to touch your money, there's no penalty and no taxes. Save it where you know it can give you more bang for your buck. That if you pass away today, you die and leave $1 million behind. Or save it where you know if you get ill and cannot work, you have something called long-term care that pays you. Because statistics shows 70% of us will need long-term care. So what is long-term care? God forbid if I get hit with cancer today, I stand to get $20,000 per month. That's long-term care. They pay me and they can also pay you, but you got to know about these products. You got to know about these financial concepts. And if you don't know about it, hey, you end up pulling out your own money or having to deal with whatever the government or what, you know, whatever Medicaid you're going to get, if you get anything. And we all know we cannot depend on the government because the government are always cutting stuff. I see this happening to my parents. I see them talking about, you know, something has gotten cut for them and now maybe their medication is, you know, they have to come out of pocket more. Or maybe the money that they was getting, now it's being reduced, right? So you're not free until you're financially free. So now as an associate, imagine you're doing the right thing. You're helping. First of all, you're going to help yourself. And when you help others save their money smart, if it's $250 per month, which is $3,000 per year, as an associate, the company pays you $1,350. Now ask yourself, are you getting paid right now $1,350? And if you are, how many hours you're putting in to get $1,350? I hear it every day, guys. I sit with clients every day. Most people, 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes. And if I get a really good client who's like making some good money, maybe they're going to get this in 1 week, maybe 1 week. But most people, it's about 2 weeks, right? So here at WFG, guess how long it takes one of our licensed associates to make $1,350? Less than 3 hours. And this is a brand new person spending less than 3 hours of their time making $1,350. So even if you help 4 clients per month, you're looking at over $5,000, which is less than 10 hours of your time. So for me, once I started seeing the checks, my dean asked me to come full time and chair one of our program, and I didn't even think about it. Flat out, I told her right away, no thank you. She's like, don't you want to sleep on it? Don't you want to think about it? I said no. And you know what I did? I give her this book, and I give her a copy of my book, and I said, read it. Now I'm helping her, and this is my dean. Now I'm sitting with my dean and showing her financial strategies, right? So you can go all the way up to a senior marketing director. This just means you're building a bigger team and you're leading people and you're training people to be the next best version of themselves while we help more families. Because I can do it by myself. The ladies that you guys heard from tonight, Sharon, Leslie, Shelly Ann, we need more people because there's so many of us, unfortunately, with our complexion who don't know this information. So we're always looking for more people who can go out and spread this message to help free us financially. Now, as a senior marketing director, the average senior marketing director makes about $86,000 to $1 million. This was another thing that blew me away when I went to Mercy College. Had I stayed in the corporate world, I would never make $1 million in this lifetime. And there's so many people today that will never make $1 million in this lifetime. But it does not have to be like this, because at WFG, there's constant people making $1 million. Like every other day, we're seeing something in our portal celebrating someone who just crossed a milestone. So for me, being here, my 5-year track is to hit my first $1 million. And 1 million as a W-2 versus 1 million as a 1099 is two different end numbers. Because your W-2, you're going to pay a lot of taxes on this 1 million. But if you're a 1099 and you have financial education, you're not going to pay a lot of tax on this 1 million. Because you can tax write off a lot of stuff. You're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. And as you may or may not know, America is built on this. They're rewarding the people who are business owners and businesses, right? So I challenge you, get around like-minded people. These are some of the people in our organization. Jonathan is our mentor. He was 18 years old when he started with this company. Today, he makes over $1 million. This guy is younger than me. He's in his 30s. He's 33. And when he started, he was 18 years old. His dad told him he's wasting his life. Get a real job. You're a disgrace to us, because he's Persian. And in the Persian community, they all got to go be a doctor or a lawyer. So for the very first years of his career, his parents wasn't happy. His parents, didn't want to hear anything about finance. They're like, go get a job. You're disgracing us. Everybody kid is going off to law school and you coming to us with this nonsense about financial education. But guess what? Today, when you sit with his parents, you know what his dad tells us? And I've heard it myself. Odetta, I am so glad Johnny did not listen to me. I am so glad that Johnny was determined and stayed on this track, because today he retired both his parents, bought a house for his mom, and takes care of his mom. In fact, his mom now works for him. 33 years old, over $1 million, just closed on a more than $1 million property, and he put down more than 50% cash. This is what it did for an 18-year-old kid. And this is what it has been doing for so many other people in our organization. All of these people that you see here have no financial background. They all come from different fields, right? Eduardo, he comes from the beauty field. He was a hairstylist. Oh my God, could you imagine what is happening right now as a hairstylist? If he wasn't part of WG, whose hair is he gonna do? How many people are getting their hair done if they can't go anywhere? Susie and George, they were anchors on Telemundo news station, had their 401k, had a pension, went down the drain. Oh my God, my girl Rory and her husband, Andrea and Rory, Being in the entertainment industry helps so many multimillionaire stars that we see on television performing. Guess what? They hang with millionaires. They made the millions. But because they did not have financial education, they also made bad choices with their finances. And then we have a spot here. This is an empty spot for you to control your future. Let's talk about more recognition, because guys, you gotta be in a winning environment. If you hang with 4 broke people, you're gonna be the 5th one. But if you're in a room where people are hungry, they're growing, they want more out of life, they're constantly self-educating themselves, they're constantly on a webinar, they're reading, they're learning, the conversation is different in that room. And so we have world-class recognition. Had it not been for WFG, I would have never known some of these people. Oh my God, like Ed Mylett, #1 motivational speaker and business person around the world. Here he is, right? John Maxwell, had a chance to meet him this year prior to COVID taking off, right? John Maxwell is the founder and father of leadership, right? He's associated with our company. He teaches us at a higher level. Then we have Magic Johnson. Last year, he was a keynote speaker at one of our convention. Entrepreneur. Then we have the Shark Tank guy, Damon John, right? He was on a convention stage too, 2 years ago as a keynote speaker. These are all people who have associated themselves because they know, and when you hear their story, they too echo the same thing. Yes, they made millions. E.T., he talks about growing up so poor, eating out of garbage, and now he's on a crusade to go back to colleges in Detroit and colleges almost anywhere, just teaching people stuff that they should learn. But as a professor, I can tell you, we failed. We failed the education system. We're not teaching our students about financial planning. We're preparing them to have careers, but we're not teaching them how to manage that money when they get that career paycheck, right? And all of these people will say the same thing. You'll hear it over and over. Had they gotten this education, this financial education, know what to do with their money, yes, they've made it and they're successful, but they could have been a lot better off and also help a lot of people pull up with them. So you're a product of your environment, guys. Whoever you hang around with, that's going to be you in the future if you don't change. And so to wrap it up, life is all about choices. What would your future look like in 5 years or 10 years from now? If you don't do anything or you're doing the same thing, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be in the same place 5 or 10 years from now. So you know what? You can decide you want to save your future. Learn how money works. Get a free financial analysis. Know what's going on with your money. Find out if your money is safe. Find out, some people sometimes tell me, oh, Dad, I have a lot of money. And I said, yeah, that's great. But where's the money sitting? Or are you going to continue always have a lot of money? I have a client that has $2 million sitting in the bank. Why is it in the bank? Why is it in the bank? 2 million, earning 2%. Clearly, this person did not know what I know, right? You make a lot of money, you want to put that money to go to work for you, right? So everyone, at the very minimum, get in touch with the person who invited you so you could understand what is going on with your money. Is your financial house secure? Get a free financial analysis. Learn about money. And for some of you, you may want to be on board and earn an extra income, because 2021, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not going to be any different than 2020. I just read that Boeing, they're going to lay off over 2,000 people because there's no need to build planes. One of my clients just told me the other day that Qantas Airline, right? They were scheduled to start flying in July. Now they push it back to December of 2021. So they're already projecting, listen, based on how things are looking, we can't fly July 2021. We're going to have to push it back, because why do we want to run a full plane when only 10% of the plane or 20% of the plane is full, right? On top of it, flights are cheap right now. So it's costing them money. So you can decide you want to save for your future, get help with your finance, or become part of something big. Take control of your life. You can become certain in these uncertain times. And there's a good quote here by Bill Gates. He said, if you're born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it is your mistake. Especially now, since you guys have access. You can no longer say, I didn't know, because you have access to this information. You can become a member, get into our financial workshops. We have workshops every day, multiple times per day, even tomorrow, Sunday. Get in touch with the person who invited you to set up a financial consultation. And because we're big on financial education, right? Because we're so big on financial education, December 5th, right? Get in touch with the person who invited you. On December 5th, we have a women's conference. It's called Unstoppable. Unstoppable Women's Conference. This is going to be an empowering conference. You don't only have, it's not only open to women, men can join too. It's December 5th, 2020. And we're going to have entrepreneur women in WFG. Because as women, there are no glass ceilings. If they told us there's a glass ceiling, there's no glass ceiling. Come find out how you can overcome obstacles or any stereotypes at this women's convention. It's going to be powerful. 2020 may have been a little shaky or rough, but do not carry that over into 2021. Put yourself in a position to make 2021 different. Who were some of the speakers? Super, super excited. Some of them are my colleagues, right? We have, oh my God, here. This Asian lady, she is the daughter of the founder of WFG. Her dad makes $1 million per month. And she's going to be leading the torch when he dies. Alicia is in her 30s. She just had a birthday this week. Then we have Jamie. Jamie comes from humble beginning, right? And then we have, oh my God, like these ladies, when you hear their story, you're going to be like, if they can do it, I certainly can, because their stories are rough. Their stories are nothing but heartbreak. They had every reason to give up, but they did not give up. 2 keynote speakers, Google Bridget. Bridget is one of the leading author when it comes to women and business. She has her book. I've gotten a copy of it, and I've got a chance to meet her last year at our convention. She's going to talk about why women are winning and why women runs the world, because women makes all the decision. The men may act like they do, but the women are influencing the decision, guys, right? And then we have Catherine, who is one of our leading founders and leading higher people in Transamerica, right? If you know or may not know, Transamerica has been the #1 top female broker in the last 5 years. So women are on top of it. So get in touch with a person. This is a free women's conference. It's going to be, what's the date here again? December 5th, right? December 5th. I believe it's a Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure. Check the calendar. It's from 2 p.m. It's usually about 3 hours long. But guys, we're home right now. Take this time to learn. Take this time to empower yourself. And in wrapping up, I'm going to launch a poll. This is where you get to choose, what are you interested in? Do you want to get a free consultation and create a dream map for your life? Many years ago, I never thought that I would even have anything to do with $1 million, right? Many years ago, I never thought that I would be a millionaire. And now I'm on track to be a multimillionaire. So this is what having a dream map does for you. So like I keep saying, get in touch with a person, because you can design the life you want. Nobody's going to do it for you. Or number 2, do you want to make more money? Everybody should want to make more money. One of the things that I talk about in my book is I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Even when I was making good money in the hotel industry, I was always doing something on the side. I was teaching, I was throwing events, I was throwing parties, I was always doing something on the side. And it's so important to have multiple sources of income. I will never forget one time I had lost my job. Because in the hotel industry, the directors of sales are the first people to go when a hotel gets sold. So every 3 to 4 years, I found myself switching jobs because the hotel would either sold or they would have new owners or new management, and they typically come with their own team. They come with their own key people to be in key position. So when I got lost my job, I realized that I didn't have to scramble to get another job in 2 months or 3 months. I took that time off and I stayed home for a whole year. I could have afforded to stay home for a whole year without stressing about the bills. And I talk about that in my book. And I was able to do that because I had multiple sources of income and I was already saved and I had more than 12 months emergency. While everybody else was saying 3 to 6 months, I talk about in my book having 12 months of emergency. And now more than ever, people can see the need of having 12 months or more. There's never a problem if you have more money saved up. So why are we limiting ourselves to only 6 months? So number 2, you can decide, because again, we're not looking for everybody. We're looking for the person who's looking for us. So you can make more money and look into a part-time position or even full-time. I started part-time, now I'm full-time. So get in touch with the person who invited you. Take the poll and let's see how we can help you design the life you want, because your job is not going to do it because they're not even educating you. Your job is not going to do it. And whatever you have set up for yourself, it might be good, but guess what? There's better choices. There's better options. No one is going to tell you this information. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I hope to see many of you at the Women's Conference, December 5th. And some of you, of course, like I said earlier, I'm raffling off 3 of my books. So whoever sets up their first appointment with whoever invited you, we will mail you a autographed signed copy of my book, because if you in stacking, you are dropping. So thank you guys so much for being on. Sharon, we love you. You did an amazing job. Shelly Ann, awesome. Leslyn and Chandel, you ladies rock. And yeah, let's share this information with everyone else.
Thank you, Netta.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, Miss Scott. Nice to see you.
An amazing job as usual, Odetta. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, ladies.
Good night,
Have a good
everybody.
weekend. Bye.
Good night. Good night, Miss Rock.
Good night,
Miss April. Miss Good night. Thank you, guys. Mr. Francis, good night.